Welcome to the Lone Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage, and yes, I am the Lone Ranger. Funny how many people are calling me the Lone Ranger. I'm not the Lone Ranger. I am the Lone Ranger. That would be LOANARRANGER. I arrange loans. That's what I do. I've been in the mortgage business for 35 years. I've helped tens of thousands of families enjoy home ownership and help them get mortgages for purchases, refinances, home equity lines, construction loans, you name it, I've got it. And as I said, I've been in this business for 35 years and going strong. I'm right here in your backyard. CrossCountry Mortgage is the country's #1 retail lender in the country. There's only 2 other mortgage companies that do more production than we do, but it's only by a small margin. And they are not really what we consider to be retail lenders. They're more on the wholesale side. So where do families go to get a good mortgage? They go to me, CrossCountry Mortgage, Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. If you're interested in getting a mortgage and you need help or you just want to get qualified to go see what your buying power is, it's easy. By the way, when you start off your application with me, I want to make it as easy as possible. And one of the first questions I get is, will you do a hard credit pull? No, we won't do a hard credit pull. So we will start off with a soft credit pull. The only time I need to go hard is when we're ready to get the loan fully approved. You can't get fully approved on a soft pull. However, why do a hard pull when you don't even know, what your rate would be, how much your closing costs are going to be? You don't know anything. You don't know anything. So why don't we just focus on a soft pull, get the numbers under control, know how much you're going to qualify for, and then we can take it to the next level after that. It's pretty doggone simple. We don't have to make it complicated. So there's a lot we got to talk about on today's show. So one of the things I want to talk about is those of you that would like to get into the market, but you're struggling with some down payment. There are down payment assistance programs available out there for you. And I always want to make sure that you have accessibility to them. So we've got Hometown Heroes is coming up on July 1st. We've got $100 million coming into it. You can get 5% of the loan amount from Hometown Heroes to cover down payment, closing costs, and even some escrows. So you're buying a 425 house, and let's just say you're putting 3.5% down. So you're at 425 times 96.5%. That gives me 410 times 5%. You could get $20,000 for down payment assistance. How do you like that? Hometown Heroes. Call me now. If you're in Tampa, call me at 813-213-4009. Orlando, 407-706-3313. For the Lone Ranger. Apply online at webringyouhome.com. I can help you with any down payment assistance program throughout the country. My team are experts at guiding you through the process. Also, we got self-employed. It's tax season, our favorite time of the year, isn't it? We get to pay the IRS. I find that a lot of my self-employed people, and not mine, just self-employed people in general, they are compelled to want to save as many tax dollars as possible. So they write off as much expenses as possible. And that does save you tax dollars. There's no question your CPA is doing a great job when that happens. The problem is you go to a bank or a mortgage company and you want a loan, and they're like, hey, man, you're not showing any income. You're not going to be able to qualify for as much money as you'd like to make. Well, you have options, okay? Number one option, you can understand how much income you need to be able to show on your taxes and pay the taxes on it to be able to get a traditional, what we call agency type of loan. That would be Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, conventional loan, FHA, VA, government loan, or USDA. So if you want that type of financing, because they come with the best possible interest rates, then you're going to need to report your income on your taxes. But Oftentimes, self-employed people look at that and they're like, I don't want to show that much money. It's going to cost me too much in taxes. What other programs are available? So you put 20% down, and I can get you a mortgage based on your income from your business bank statements. So I take your business bank statements and I will add up all the deposits over the last 12 months. So let's just say you're making $40,000 a month in deposits. So I'll take that 40 grand a month in deposits. And this is assuming you own 100% of the company. If you don't, then we're going to have to divide that by the amount of owners in the company. But let's just say you had 40,000. 40,000 times 12 is 480. And I will use 50% of that. So 240,000, which would give you about $20,000 a month in income to qualify. If that works, that's going to be great. So I have that program, super easy, 20% or more to put down. The more you put down, the better the interest rates tend to get. But it is an option for those of you that are self-employed. You have money in the bank. You have good credit. You know you make the income. You just don't want to report it. Hey, I don't care. No judgment here, my friends. No judgment here. You report whatever you want, and then I'll get you the type of loan that you qualify for. I've got it all here. Direct lending. I'm not brokering any of this stuff. Okay. I'm no mortgage broker. I'm a direct lender. Like everything we do is in-house. I don't have to call around and find another lender that can do a loan for me that I can sell them the loan. No, we don't operate like that. There's no middlemen here. We do everything in-house. CrossCountry Mortgage, Bruce Woodburn. I am the loan arranger. Orlando, 407-706-3313, or in Tampa, broadcasting on the bone at 813-213-4009. All right. If you're self-employed and you filed an extension, that's no problem. We can work with extensions. But if you filed an extension and you want to try to use that year's income, you must pay the estimated tax obligation. So, excuse me, in your extension form, you have a space that says put down what you estimate your tax obligation is. If you do an extension and you don't report the estimation, there is no income to be reported. So you can't expect the lender to use any income for that if you're going off of tax returns for a conventional loan. So keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about the whole change. Everybody heard about all the lawsuits from the National Association of Realtors. Were sued for $418 million or something like that. You had several other real estate companies sued because of the antitrust agreement stating that the seller should not have to pay the buyer's agent's real estate commission. So I want you to think about that as a seller. So right now, up for the last 50 years, you would contact a real estate agent. That real estate agent would say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I could sell your home for approximately this much money, and I'll do that for a commission of 6%. Now, that 6% would then be split in some fashion, and the listing agent can determine what portion they wanted to pay the buyer's agent, but all the money from that would be split from that commission that went to the listing agent. And that's worked out perfectly for us. But some attorneys felt like it wasn't the seller's obligation. Well, in reality, it's never been the seller's obligation, because you could have always said, hey, I'll pay you 3% commission. And then, you bring a buyer in and the buyer can pay their own realtor commission. Well, if you're a seller, you're going to go, well, that sounds pretty good. I could save, on $450,000 house, I could save $300 or $13,000. That's pretty sizable. Keeping in mind, you built that commission into the sales price. You built it into it. So now you want to lower your price and not pay the commission, or leave your price the same and not pay the commission. What could we expect to see? Well, if you are struggling to sell your home now and you're willing to pay a buyer's agent their commission through the listing agent, follow me on this, please, and you're still not getting a lot of showings, how many showings do you think you're going to get by not paying a buyer's agent commission? Because if I'm a buyer's agent and I've got a buyer in my car and that buyer is barely scraping enough to put their 3.5 or 5% down plus their closing costs, how are they possibly going to pay me? So if that happens, that buyer's agent is not going to show homes where the seller is not willing to pay the commission because the buyer doesn't have it. So the seller just talked themselves out of about 80% of the market, maybe even 90, to be honest with you, that don't have the money to pay that. I mean, the amount of cash buyers and people putting down 30%. And even if you're putting down 30% on a home, you're expecting that the commission was built into the seller. So here's my advice to you on that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You tell your agent that you hire to make sure that the agents that are showing your home are aware that you will pay a commission. Now, you can set that commission in advance. You can say, I'll pay a buyer's agent $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to bring me a buyer. You can set that. But now under the new laws, the listing agent cannot advertise that. So how do we do that? You're going to have a conversation with your listing agent. Now, here's another thing. Now more than ever, you need good negotiators. If you're looking to buy a home, you need a really good negotiator as a buyer's agent. You're going to have to sign the buyer broker's agreement that you're willing to pay your buyer's agent a commission, or they won't show you any homes. Now, how do you get around actually paying the commission? You sign the buyer broker agreement with the buyer's agent. I'll connect you with the best agent. I know the best agents throughout the state of Florida. And I'm going to tell you, most of you do not know the agents. You're calling your boss's wife or your sister that sold real estate part-time. You don't know who to call. You need now a great negotiator more than ever. So you contact me. I'll connect you to a great real estate agent. You sign the buyer broker's agreement with that agent, understanding that my pre-approval letter says the seller must pay the buyer agent's commission and must pay, say, $5,000 toward my buyer's closing cost. And that's the only way you enter into contract. I will guide you through that. It's a lot of moving parts. It might sound a little crazy, but now more than ever, you need me and you need a great agent to help you navigate that. So if you have questions, it's a little complicated. It is the rules are all not even completely been set forth for us. So we don't know exactly how that's going to play out. But I can tell you, if you want to sell a home, you better pay a realtor. That's a fact. So when we get back from the next break, I want to cover insurance, what's going on with insurance, because there's been some announcements from the insurance commissioner. So I want to cover insurance, and I want to cover a few other topics in here, like what are rates doing? What's the average rate right now? So if you have questions, call or text 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009, or go to WeBringYouHome.com. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Lone Ranger Radio Show.